Hopefully the review of the formula sheet gave you some general background, and we say repetition is the mother of memory. All right, let's go on to item number 1. We have this equation. My first question is, what form is this equation in? And if you said standard form, that is correct. Now, they're giving us, in a sense, an ordered pair, and we can use a little t-chart to help organize our data. We're saying the x-coordinate is 2. Now, if x is 2, what would the y value be? So you're going to go 5 times 2, and then plus 5y equals 18. Take a moment and see what you get. Okay, let's just work that as review. Items from, in a sense, Chapter 2. This is going to be a 10 plus 5y equals 18. Transpose that. Becomes a negative 10 on this side, so this is 8. 5y, divide both sides by 5. So our y-coordinate here is going to be 8/5. And I thought they might give us a little easier one to start off with, but apparently they didn't. So that's what this is going to be here, 8/5. They already give you the 2. Now for the next one, they're going to give us a coordinate of 3 for the y value. So for this, we would go 5x plus 5 times 3 now, we're substituting, equals 18. And let's see what you get. Well, this is going to be 5x plus 15 equals 18. Transpose, this becomes a 3. Divide both sides by 5. Here are x's 3/5. Again, not particularly an easy one to start us off with, but that's the way it is sometimes. All right, let's go on. Now, in this next one, you're asked to find the intercepts, that is, those points on the y-axis and the x-axis where the lines will cross. And I'm going to ask you to use the special x and y intercept t-chart for this. And first, let's find the y-intercept. So if x is a 0 here, this becomes a 0. So we end up with a negative 2/3 y equals 4. All right, again, review from Chapter 2. See what you can do to solve that. All right, now for this one, I'm going to use the reciprocal, a negative 3/2 times a negative 2/3 y equals 4. But I have to use what I multiplied this side by, a negative 3/2. So here, negative times negative cancels out, makes it a positive, and this just becomes a y now. And I can cancel the 2 with that and the 2 in that, and I get here now a negative 6. So I can put my negative 6 into my x and y intercept t-chart here, put it as the y-intercept as part of my answers, and then I'm physically going to put it here on the y-axis. Now let's do this next one. If y is 0, then I'm going to have 3/7 x equals 4. And let's see what we get now. Well, I'm going to use the reciprocal of 3/7, which is 7/3, and this side by 7/3. 4 times 7 is 28/3. And again, they gave us some rather challenging ones here. But we're just using skill, hopefully we bring in from chapter 2. And you might think, well, that's wrong. No, that's correct. Put that in here. 28/3 and 0. Now, 28/3 is like 9 1/3. And that would be hard to graph. So 9 1/3 is about right there. And then you're going to have the line form here. And it looks like so, approximately. Okay. Now, before we go, I want to emphasize what we've done here. We have found the intercepts. There's your y-intercept, there's your x-intercept by using this special t-chart. And then, again, I think many that you're going to get won't be quite this difficult, but this is the protocol for getting your answer. Now, this one's a little easier. Graph the line by plotting any two ordered pairs. My question would be, what form is this equation in? And if you said slope-intercept, that is correct. We gave you a special way of plotting this. We said we could plot the y-intercept, which is a +3. And then the slope, in essence, is 2/1. So if we went over 1, since it's positive, and up 2, that would give us our second point. So we could put these points here, or plot them on the graph, depending how the software will let us do it. They want the y-intercept here. This is 0, 3. And this second point is going to be 1, 5. Now, I could have done another point. Let's say we wanted another point, and which points do you choose? Well, you want to keep it toward the origin. Let's say if we did a 2 here. So x is 2. 2 times 2 is 4, plus 3 is 7. So let's try that one. Go over 2, up 7. Yeah, that's still in that straight line. And we get a nice graph out of it there. Of course, when you do it, the lines form, and that's the nice thing about the software. Now, as we look at this next example, what form is that in? Well, it's y equals mx plus b, slope-intercept form. But we see the y. We don't really see a slope. It's just a negative. Well, in that sense, a negative in front of an x is a -1 that we don't write, x. And is there a b value out here? No. So the b value would be 0. So here's a case where the line is going through the origin. And we could make a little t-chart if we want. And we got 0 is 0. Now how about a -1 and a, let's say, a +2? Well, if x is a -1, -1 times -1 is a +1. And if x is a 2, a negative 2 is a negative 2. So these are our points. We have the origin already plotted. Now we're going to go negative 1, up 1. We're going to go 2, down 2. And notice they form a straight line here. And then when that's graphed, it will form properly. Now, for this example, they're asking us to use our knowledge of the x and y intercepts to choose the correct representation. Well, there's our equation in standard form. Take a moment and fill in your x and y intercept t-chart. So if x is 0, y is 3. And if y is 0, x is 1. Now, which does it match up to? Well, 0, 3. It could be this one. Could be this one. The other two are not that. So we need a 1, 0. Well, this one. Ah. Okay, so again, knowledge of x and y intercepts is very helpful in something like this. Now, for this next one, I'm going to suggest again, you're going to do the x and y intercept t-chart, and I'm going to let you do the whole thing on your own, because here the values are much easier than what we started off with. And we started off hard and ended up hopefully easy. All right, let's go on. All right, for